Struggling to come up with creative ideas? This simple paint and doodle trick might change everything for you. If you've ever felt stuck or like you're just not that creative, you're not alone. My name is Tammy, and I'm going to show you an easy way to get inspired using marks, patterns, and color. No pressure, just play. Let's jump in and make something fun.
One of the most interesting things about making art is coming from a place of experimenting, coming from a place of looking and trying new things. And so I actually have so many inspiration books. I'm not a natural doodler. I'm not a natural someone who can just come up with crazy new ideas. And so I pick up books, especially at thrift stores, and I look for ideas. I look for ways of doing things that I can emulate. Something about putting dots on a page or dashes on the page or putting all the little lumps and bumps onto pictures. And I find Zentangle is a great way for me to explore new shapes, doing swirls, maybe a little bit of something that looks like neurographic art. I've had this book probably the longest. Remember when scrapbooking was the big thing? Well, doodling on your pages to bring creativity, your own handiwork to a page was really important. I really loved this one. It starts with a line. It just was so freeing to realize everything's just a curve or a line or a dot. Made the most sense to me. I'll leave a link for a lot of these books if you're interested in looking things up. This is my latest find. It has been so much fun for me to look at these finished pieces and how they actually came to be. And I have drawn so much inspiration in looking through books like this. Not that I follow the Zentangle philosophy, but I love finding inspiration and putting that into my art. In fact, I really just was playing the other day and put out some paint, made some swatches, layered some color, and then got my pens. I have several pens I like to use. I have a 0.1, 0.3, 0.5 for different widths. These I find are very good, permanent. They don't smear with water or the paints. Posca pen, this is a 0.9. That's a really great white pen. Oh, and gold. Gold always makes everything look so fun and fresh, and just it glows so amazing. Well, I just used some watercolor paper. This is Canson. It's only 117 pounds. Not a very expensive paper. It is cold pressed, so that means it has some texture. And this is 9 by 12, and I cut them down. These I cut in half, and here I have cut into fourths. So I thought I would play a little bit with you today, just to let you know that you can do anything. You can just have fun. And no, it's not high art. It's all about enjoying the process. It's about experimenting. In fact, for today, I'm going to use my 1/2-inch flat wash brush. And I have my own palette that I've created with all my Winsor and Newton that I practically own. Every color I practically own. What's inspiring today? What do you feel like? It is a beautiful spring day. I think might go with some golds, some yellows, and I just want to start with a wash. Just something fun and bright, and I'm not particular. I am not going to worry about all the little details about painting. I'm actually just more excited to get colors on a page. In fact, those almost look like my wedding colors. I had a pretty yellow and blue and a very, very dark green. Those were my wedding colors. Isn't that funny? Something about being drawn to that. This is quinacridone gold. I love quinacridone. See, look how that's bending. This is not great paper, but that's why I wanted to show you. This is not meant to be anything hard or strict as far as rules go. I'm using, looks like Viridian green. It's coming out really lightly. And I just want to throw it on here. That is not the object. Today it's all about the doodling. This is cerulean blue. And I want to put this away real quick and let this dry. It is really buckling. If that bothers you, you can buy your watercolor paper in blocks. You can tape it down to a piece of glass or a piece of tag board, something really stiff. I think we're going to be just fine. One of the reasons I like playing with not high quality paper is I just don't feel pressured. I don't feel like I'm being wasteful. I get to play with something that is technically watercolor paper, but it's also very freeing. I've painted on cardstock, like index card, and the paint just soaks up so quickly. Here we were able to get a little bit of that color to mix, and I think that looks great. I'm going to save that and let that dry just a minute. My paper's dry, and I'm starting with my 05. And at the very moment that I'm doing this, I'm really inspired by these leaves and the squiggles and the circles. They're such gentle, basic shapes. So pick a line. Let's start here at the bottom. Those are some really big leaves. And looks like they technically used another color, green or maybe even a blue. And look how the lines aren't exact. Some are wide, some are close. This is you practicing being imperfect. You using your product. You practicing leaf shapes. We could make multiple. We could do them together. You can make a pattern across. That's all fine. This is you spending time with your craft, with your product, and enjoying time. I have found so many books about living intentionally lately, and they just has been speaking to me. This last one I found is Bob Goff, and he is actually talking about not being distracted. And I find I am so distracted being on my phone. I get caught up in that. As much as I like making videos, I get caught up like so many people, and I've lost an hour, 2 hours. And it makes me sad. It does. It makes me sad to think what else I could have been doing, where else my time could have been given attention. And it's important to take time out. I mean, I've got a craft room full of papers and full of paint, full of so many cool things. And then an hour's gone by and I was just scrolling. That's sad. And I don't want to miss that anymore. I really want to start getting more involved with making videos and inspiring you to really take on something new. If you've never attempted watercolor or doodling and was looking for a way to just relax and play and learn a new skill, that's what this is. It's about slowing down and trying something new and having fun. Maybe even making fun of yourself as you're working through something. That it doesn't have to be so serious. Things don't have to be, oh gosh, perfect. It's interesting how I came to enjoy art through my experience and love with impressionistic art. And the funny thing is, I've always thought of it as easy, and I do not mean to take away from great impressionists. I just meant, in my view, it was about, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do it exact, because those artists scare me. How you can paint something that looks like a photograph. That's intense. That's powerful. And I'm truly in awe. But I knew I didn't want to spend my time, my life, working at that. That was not something that sounded exciting to me, fun to me. When I crochet, I even like to just crochet for an hour, but I want something that's done. I want to have something usable and done. So I'm stuck with making beanies and pot holders, something small. And oh, look, I've made 2 or 3. I was actually watching TV and I got multiple done. To me, I just feel so accomplished. And that's what's more fun to me. I prefer that. Crocheting an Afghan that's going to take me 3 months is not inspiring to me. So I don't work at that. Am I capable? Sure. Do I want to take the time to do that? No. And here is the key. You have permission to do what you want. You have permission to learn what you want. And go for it. I started looking at this and I came up with this. And I heard one of my favorite artists, she actually made me laugh when she made this comment about what I didn't like about making things that looked more realistic is the disappointment I felt when it didn't come out right. Not saying the piece was not good. The piece could have been very pleasant, hang upable. But the frustration was it didn't look like the photograph I was trying to emulate. It didn't look like the sample I was trying to learn. And that disappointment took the joy away. And I'm not saying to be good at something, you have to be able to do it the first try. I get that. In fact, my husband and I just came back from Portland. We saw a Monet water lily that was actually in the home. And the piece, I believe, wasn't even signed because it was not for public view. It was not for sale. It was a private piece. And I believe I heard her say, like, he painted this 100 times, thousands of times. That's amazing. Yes, it's going to take practice. And especially when you find something you love to do, that makes it all the better. But for me, when I'm learning, I would love to have something I'm happy with right away. Don't you? So I present this as an option for you, something that you can do immediately and feel a sense of satisfaction. Something that feels natural. Now, let me tell you something. These ovally leaf shapes, I've probably made thousands of these. And my comment to you is, if this is hard or a struggle, well, tell me how it goes after your next 1,000, because I feel like that's about how long it took me to actually feel confident in what I was doing. I don't want to make anything seem like, oh, it's so simple, when, yes, I've probably been doing this for 8 years. I picked up a pen when my mom was ill, and I was learning brush calligraphy because the teacher made it look so easy. And these pens were new to me. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And then I found out that they were water soluble, and I learned I could watercolor with them. That got me into watercoloring. That led me into doodling, and that, all that to say is, give yourself permission to try. Give yourself permission to experiment. Look at things and feel good about what you're doing. I'm basically picking something off of my book here and emulating it without a thought, without a strong desire to make something amazing. I'm just pen to paper. I think maybe the only rule I might be following is curvy, straight, curvy, straight. But I don't have to, and you don't have to. If you are much more comfortable with lines and hash marks, checkerboard, squares, rectangles. Do that. Make a pattern across your page. I know that's one of the rules, if you will, about Zentangle is patterns. Patterns is what keeps your mind feeling free, confident, comfortable, because you don't have to think about what to do next. You're just doing the next thing. Now, I don't know that I love that. And I think I'll come back with a really fine pen for some other detail. What do we got here? You're the 5, so you're not something nice and thick. Look at how simple they make these patterns work for you. I think that's so brilliant. Maybe I will do that. Something sideways. See how significantly thicker the lines are? If that's the only pen you have that's thick, you could definitely work this project that way. You can even doodle with paint. Get a fine, round paintbrush and do it that way. Oh, no, I'm going to go this way. Then something squarish. The idea popped into my head about these kinds of leaves. Oh, it looks so neat. Maybe I'll make a line between that too. There we go. And you can embellish and embellish and embellish with finer and finer pens, with colored pens, with more paint. That is neat. Wouldn't that make a pretty border on a card? And that's the cool thing about practicing and drawing out these shapes, is feeling like you've discovered something. This will make a great place to fill in. And all because I'm kind of concentrating on the color blocks that I've made. Not seriously focusing, but it's been a guide for me. Does that look straight to you? I think that I'm going to make that straight. Maybe some more round. Look like little light bulbs, don't you think? Those old cameras. What was it that I saw? There we go. Pattern inside a pattern. I feel like I'm rushing, but my husband's coming home soon. And Ramsey just came to visit. Will it need more? Yeah. This gold pen has always been so good. This is, pretty sure it's a Signal. Maybe it's on the cap. Yep, Signal Uniball. Now what about something tiny? Where's my one? Okay. Oh, I filled that one in. Well, let's make a square at the end. There we go. And maybe we're just letting our imagination run. Having a moment to ourselves. I thought this was my small pen. Didn't I say this was my small pen? This is my fat, thick pen. Have you ever made a border around, say, an address on a card you're sending? It's fun to make little borders around that. And there's just something about having squiggly lines, ones that you didn't do correctly. I think it looks fun. There we go. This would even make a nice postcard. Put your message on the back and a stamp and send it off. That would be fun, huh? Picking some colors that speak to you, something that brighten your day as your background was a fun place to start. And find all the little quirky pieces in it. All right? Maybe a little ladybug right here. A little hidden ladybug. Silliness, just silliness. Well, I hope you found that fun, and I hope you pick up your paints, and I hope to see your doodles. Let me know how your process was for you. Was it giving you encouragement and the opportunity to give yourself permission to make something just because you can.